Good afternoon and welcome to Tea Time, where we get you updated on the biggest entertainment news. I'm Tokunbo Tyro and I'm here with my vibrant and fervent co-anchors Alakwe Banjo and Ife Oshinkeye. Hi guys.
Hello.
Your smile's not very vibrant and it's not very fervent either. What's going on?
Tokunbo, gee, you usually give me compliments every time. He's giving me like a proper dressing down today.
You sure Tokunbo is not trying to, shoot his shot?
Tokunbo?
Be careful now, she's got someone listening in or watching.
Oh my gosh, you're so annoying.
He's still shooting his shot.
He is still shooting his shot.
Sagu.
Anyway, what's... Don't let me say what they say, please.
I'm cracking you up.
Yes, you are cracking me up.
Yeah. Tokunbo, in this case, now own goal because someone else has scored.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just
why?
She says her mum watches the show, Ife. I can't believe...
Stop bringing my personal
So,
life.
mommy, you don't want that to bring a man home?
Oof. Alrighty.
Moving on swiftly.
Okay,
moving on swiftly, yeah.
Tokunbo's words.
Yes, let's roll the tape. We were talking about, sorry? Anyway, what's new this afternoon?
Not much, actually. Ife, what's new with you? I'm sure you've got something interesting to share. You always do.
So much to share, I don't even know where to start.
He doesn't have anything to share.
Exactly.
No, seriously.
On a lighter note, though.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm back in the gym now. So
you are?
I am.
Okay. But that's not going to last.
Walking like a robot all morning.
And trust me, it's not going to last. I give you like 2 days.
No, I'm going out to work out today as well, actually.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, never.
Every morning?
No, not where you live. It's so far away. Anyway, right?
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is that, did you guys know that Serena Williams beat her sister again?
Yeah.
But like, this is like the 4th time.
Yes.
How would you feel if that was your sibling?
The prize money, I'll go share them.
Really? You think they're showing the money? I just always felt like if I was a big sister, which I'm not, but if I was a big sister and I had like a little sister, and she was constantly like whooping me at a sport, I would feel a way about it. But
you feel what?
I feel a way about it. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, they've grown up together, and I think, they would have known who's the stronger player.
Yeah, but still a competition.
I think
but
it also
even
depends on how close you are to that.
Exactly. Because like with my younger brothers, I used to play table tennis, and people used to say I was good, and they were better than I was. I'm like, seriously? But we all had one sport that, one person was better than the other. So
well, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Well, it could even be planned, like, beat me all the time. That's the news.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
It's a competition.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just the one with the conspiracy theory today. Why won't you
Wow,
guys
yeah, true that. True that. True
all right,
that.
I think it's about time we brought in our first story. Yes?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, so we're starting with this story regarding Ghanaian actress Efia Odo, who says nobody with a natural body goes hard to prove their body is natural. Do you think she has a point?
That's and Efia is one of the realest girls you can ever see.
Stop being modest, Ife. Say the truth. You know her personally, don't you?
Your friend, you're like
yes, your friend, your best friend.
You've been on both.
What, you didn't want to bring that in?
You guys just had to put me in the spotlight. I'm friends with people like Wizkid and Davido, and nobody knows.
What are you trying to
say? What are you trying to say about Efia? Anyway, right, Efia hit the nail on the head. I'm happy someone's saying it, and I'm so happy that she's bringing to like this whole like fake body versus real body, which reminds me. Why didn't Toke Makinwa show up to AMVCA? Was she there?
I didn't see her.
I didn't see her, and besides, she's not an actress.
It doesn't matter, man. Like,
yes,
there's so many people
you've got to be in the industry, haven't you?
No, people from Big Brother were there. They're not actors.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
And musicians were there.
Too,
but the point I'm trying to make is that she didn't debut her new, brand new
figure.
Her brand new
But you know what I liked the most, guys? I spoke to Ike Odona in particular. And during the interview, I asked them, like, you trolled someone recently on Instagram about your wife. Do you want us to talk about that? Or we should talk about it later? I was like, no, you ask me anything. And then he actually spoke about it. And I was like, real cool. You know, a lot of actors, actresses, musicians, they tend to run away from their controversial side, especially when they're in the media. But it was cool when he was talking about it, and it told us clearly that he's in a good place with his wife and his kid, and they're fine.
Well, that's good for him.
Yeah.
But maybe.
But what do you think he would have said, though?
He might not
the fact that he spoke about it, I think, like...
I mean, Duncan Mighty didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Duncan Mighty didn't want to talk about his controversial...
allegations. But I think Efia, more people need to come out and call people out. Like, Efia, like, I'll give you a personal example. I should stop bringing my personal life because you guys always troll me. Like, you're two annoying trolls.
I can't believe you said both of us always troll you.
No, both of you troll me all the time.
Seriously?
Yes, you trolled me just now.
When?
At the beginning of the show. Anyway. Anyway, right?
Yeah. We're compliment.
No, he trolls me. You both troll me. End of story. Anyway.
And to think I dish out so much compliments on you.
Moving on swiftly.
Did you get your leg waxed or something?
No, I didn't. Stop checking.
Did you get your nails done?
Yeah, I did get
Did you have your hair done?
No.
Did you have your face done?
Oh gosh, stop being annoying. Anyway, right?
She's blushing.
I'm not blushing. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the whole like natural body versus fake body thing, there's nothing wrong with having a fake body. I actually really like advocate.
Are you saying something? Are you telling us something?
I thought she was about to break my heart. I thought she was about to actually have a fake body.
I was like,
why would that break your heart? Anyway, I feel like...
Okay.
No, but why would it though?
Shade season.
No, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with having like... Even if it was, why would it break your heart?
Because, man, you're like one of my advocates for a real voluptuous women.
Oh, my God. Anyway, right,
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to... You're so annoying. The point I'm trying to make is that there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you want to get your body done, if you can afford it, go for it. I mean, if you're not confident, then if that's going to give you confidence, then go for it. Now, what I don't like is when you have a fake body and you don't own it and you don't say, okay, look, this is my surgeon. You guys should give him a shout out. You guys should get an appointment.
Are you speaking in particular about anyone?
No, actually. I'm speaking generally now.
I think she's shaking the table about
I'm not shaking the table. Now.
That's what I was asking.
I think,
It's okay. She's trying to tell you to give a shout out to your surgeon.
Well,
I think she needs it.
She needs to. I mean, don't show me pictures of your behind and then not like tell me who.
But like seriously, do you think she needs to, or does she have to? She doesn't have to though. If
she doesn't have to, but then don't act like your bum's
all natural.
not. Yeah, don't act like your bum's not fake because your bum's fake. Like anyway, the point is right when big bums were like before big bums were in. Right. Okay. So I've always looked like this, right?
Yeah.
And before this wasn't always cool. It wasn't always cool to look like this, which is what Effia is trying to say. That people that have natural bodies don't feel the need to be like, oh, it's real. Oh, I need to take a picture. Everyone's going to say it's fake. Do you know what I mean? If it's real.
But do you know, I just realized what you're saying right now. It's so true. There was a time where lekpa was the thing.
Yeah. Like it wasn't always cool. Now all of a sudden,
do not want to be lekpa. I've never even thought about it.
Yeah, it wasn't always cool. You wouldn't, obviously, because you're a guy, right? Like, I mean. When I was in school, it was not cool to have a big bum, trust me. But now it's so celebrated. Everyone's getting it done. People are paying for it. And I can just imagine, like, what, 40 years down the line, how they're all going to look with, like, their... Well, like, they look like they're wearing diapers. Like, anyway, right? Because it's very obvious.
You guys seen Black China now?
Yeah,
like,
she looks like she's
looks
deflated. Yeah, because it's fake. Like, at the end of the day, it's fake. And a lot of guys can't tell the difference. Like, and that's what Effia is trying to say, that natural bodies have a way that they look, and people with natural bodies don't go around proclaiming like, oh, like, you know, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a picture.
Okay, so does that make a point that Toke's body might just be real because she hasn't come out up to prove to anybody that she...
No,
but if
we knew what Toke looked like before, and we know what
exactly,
like
and we saw the pictures.
Even you,
exactly on that day, I'll never
your reaction was classic. You were like, oh,
no, that was after I saw when she was #1 and now she is #8. So,
let her be.
Your shading is even worse.
There's nothing wrong with getting your body done though.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not
just own up to it.
Just own it. Just own it, babes.
Sorry, Toke, I'm just saying you look like 18.
Well, she does. Well, she didn't get her boobs done. She just got her bum done.
Oh, you think that went over your head, so I'm just going.
Okay.
Okay. I said 1, 8. I just said, no, that means you just look like you're 8.
Alrighty.
Really? Wow.
Okay, I think it's time for a break, but when we come back, we'll be talking to a Dubai-based artist. Find out who that is right after this break.
The country has about 1,400 unmanned routes in and out. That's according to the Nigeria Immigration Service. But have you ever wondered where these guns come from? Who controls the trade? And who makes up the clientele? We got on the dark web, but didn't find anything exactly useful, so we decided it was time to hit the streets. We reached out to one of our assets in Mile 2 area of Lagos and immediately arranged a meeting for the same day. Not everything can be discussed over the phone, I'm sure you understand why. So we met and he told us straight away we needed to see the real thing. Wow, that easy? So off we went on a journey to Nigeria's border with Benin Republic, where he introduced me to Smith, a gun dealer. This is how we began the observation on Nigeria's gun culture.
I'm a gun dealer. I sold gun to politicians and different people. If you call me that you need it, I'll get you the kind of gun you want.
Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa. Up next, time to introduce our studio guest. As mentioned before, he's a Dubai-based Nigerian artist, a gifted R&B and Afro-pop singer-songwriter. He's an influencer, founder of Art Fusion Night, has performed on the same shows as Davido, D'banj, Ice Prince, Patoranking, amongst many others. And with over 25,000 followers on Instagram, allow me to introduce the majestic, the mastermind, and the melodious MKO.
And the crowd goes!
Thanks very much, guys, for having me in the show.
It's really good to have you on the show. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
You guys are a natural. I was just enjoying you guys do your thing.
Are you just flattering?
Well done.
All right, so let me start with your name, because every time someone mentions MKO, we're thinking immediately Abiola, MKO, Abiola. You must have heard that a couple of times. And then I also want to ask you, why Dubai of all the places in the world? So MKO and Dubai.
Right, I do get the first question a lot because obviously MKO Abiola being who he is, he's more known international. So when I go for interviews, I get that question a lot. But to answer your question, MKO is my initials, so that's my full name in one, Madu Abuchi Kingsley Opor. Now living in Dubai and working in Dubai and doing music and all sorts, when I tell people Madu Abuchi, it's sort of difficult for them to... So I just figured what's the best way to have my name as my stage name, but then in one. So I just went with my initials, MKO Madu Abuchi Kingsley. So yeah, eventually when I made it public and and I introduced myself as MKO, people instantly associate me with the legend. So well, I guess it was a good step that paid off, I suppose. Okay. But and then Dubai, I moved. I mean, I went to Dubai as a tourist.
Okay.
And my cousin at the time, my cousin introduced me to a friend of hers from the UK, and so I met him, a couple of times, saw coffee, and one conversation led to the other, and that's how I got my first job in Dubai. Okay. So it was vacation turned into a full-time job.
All right, so how do you manage having a full-time day job and being a musical act?
Well, again, another question I get all the time. I think I always say it requires, it takes dedication and discipline. And obviously, you gotta have to have the love for what you do, music related, because if you love music so much and you enjoy it, you will make time for it. But in order for me to get to where I am now, I needed that full-time job, that financial backings in order to get me to, to where I'd like to be as an artist. But yeah, so and I've worked with the company that I'm working with for quite some time, to the point where I've reached that point where once it's 5:30, I'm out of the office, and the rest of the time goes into my music or whatever my passion is.
So what's your daytime job?
I work for a company where we provide HR solutions, in-house HR solutions for quite a few oil and gas industries. And
so you get some oil money
company. But you see, the oil money guys are my clients.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
so they are my client. They are the ones making the oil money. I am the one making life
I
easy
resign
for them.
on national TV. I'm speaking
But on the topic of Dubai, obviously there's a huge Nigerian and diasporan community in Dubai.
Yep.
Have you kind of created your own niche, and also are you just targeting the Nigerian audience out there, or are you trying to do mainstream?
Well, the advantage I have over, majority of my peers is the fact that I'm a professional in the end, and majority of the people I know are people within that, you know. So I have to ensure that when I make my music, it has to cut across, as opposed to just targeting specific audience like Nigerians, for example. So I do R&B and then Afrobeat. And when I perform my Afrobeat music, I have to ensure that I know the people I'm performing to, like, So then
it
works.
Also, my second question actually is just, obviously when I was doing my research, reading up about you, I thought to myself, when we got the link, I was just like, oh yeah, there's gonna be another artist, like rolling my eyes sort of thing. But what I find really interesting about you is actually you kind of infuse fashion and art. So how did that come about, and what inspired that? Because obviously it was the African art, like, the paintings of Fela and that kind of thing. And what's it, art fusion night, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And that is so different. And it's also like for people that aren't exactly into music completely, but people that are also into art. And then there's also the fashion show side of it. How did you bring that all together, and how did you make it work? Because I mean, it's three different big industries all coming together.
Initially, when I started off with, I hope I didn't intrude, you're done, right? Yeah, right. When I thought about the concept of Art Fusion Night, as an artist myself, I knew if I focused on just music, it will be people predominantly coming to see MKO as an artist. But then, as an entertainer that I am, and someone who really loves art, and coming from that background, which I would explain at some point, I needed to have something that has a fusion of everything in order to appeal to the audience that I'm looking for. Now, with music, you have MKO. And it's not just MKO. I have other people, other Nigerians, other people from different parts of the world who live in Dubai. And Dubai, being the city that it is very diverse. You might come to Dubai and never see a local, for example. Where I work, I'm the only African. So I needed to ensure that I had a fusion of entertainment that I can showcase on a level that everyone can get something out of it. On my platform, Art Fusion Night, I have a Russian artist that her paintings are influenced by African heritage and African history. Now, she did the body painting. Yeah, that's true. One of the body painting, which, So, and then I have a designer as well who is Algerian, but her partner is from France. Again, they travel to Africa. They focus a lot, now Algerian being African, but then obviously there is a difference between...
Absolutely.
Like...
Sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa.
Especially with the sort of prints that we work with. So they travel within Africa, getting inspiration here and there, and you would see that they have cushions and they have, bin bags, a whole bunch of stuff from African prints. So I needed to ensure that my thinking does not just focus mainly on Africans, because I showcase Africa to Africans as well as non-Africans, if that makes sense.
Now, that brings me on to my next question, actually. So, obviously, I've been to Dubai a few times, and this is just... What do you mean? So it's not and I feel like, I'm not trying to be, well, I am trying to be political about this, actually. I'm trying to move away from the music and away from kind of your craft and just generally your outlook on living in Dubai and kind of starting a professional career and also, your music career. How has it been for you in terms of being a black man from Nigeria in an Arab country whereby, essentially, in my opinion, racism is worse there than anywhere else in the world? And also the fact that, you just said that, you're trying to reach out to an African audience and a non-African audience at the same time. I've actually, I've been a victim of racism in Dubai. Club White, actually.
Okay.
So,
come on, man. You went to Club White.
Club White, exactly.
You didn't expect to. You went to White.
No, they let all the black footballers in.
I'll explain. You carry on. Ask your question.
And the only reason I didn't experience it was in Giza, which obviously I wasn't going to experience that in Giza. But I just wanted to know what your experiences were and how it's been for you living out there.
Okay, this is not to sound braggy, I've never been bounced or kicked out of a club in Dubai.
Okay.
Now, the reason is you need to know, one...
The promoter.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. Now, certain clubs, you have to sort of call ahead, make a reservation.
The table and that
and all of that. Now, it's not a good thing now. We Africans sometimes we show up to places and we get stereotyped and all that. It's, you know, but it does exist, like anywhere else in the world. Even here in Nigeria, my last trip to Nigeria, I came with a friend of mine who was staying in a, you know, in a hotel, and, you know, there was a question about, I wasn't around, and there was a question that was directed to the, you know, one of the guys at the hotel, and he said, we have a lot of white people staying in our hotel. So when I got back and I heard that, I lost it. I can't go through racism outside my country and then come back in Nigeria and experience the same thing. It's annoying, yeah? But when you go to white first, you need to have a reservation.
No,
but if you go when it's ladies' night,
when you go,
even late,
and all the black footballers were getting in. So for me, it was purely
okay. So how would how could they tell the difference between the footballers and
because of money? Like, obvious. No, listen, it escalated to the point
that,
guys,
sorry, can we just hold on to those thoughts? Let's quickly take a break. So still to come on Tea Time, more conversations with Dubai-based artist MKO. If you miss it, it will be your loss, so don't go anywhere. It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full-on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negative.
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got 2 of the hottest topics currently trending on social media. If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
Welcome back. It's still Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa, and we're swiftly moving on with our conversation with MKO, a Dubai-based Nigerian artist. So before the break, like you had a question or you were making a point?
No, I was just making the point about, you know, racism out in the UAE and like how your experience has been. And, you know, you're obviously breaking into that market, trying to appeal to both the African crowd and the non-African crowd. So I just wanted to know what your experiences have been and what's kind of your biggest challenge out there.
Right. So in terms of breaking out, it's been a struggling journey, and it's the same as me trying to break out into the Nigerian music industry. However, Dubai being a diverse city that it is, you need to know how to appeal to your audience. My music does very well, and when I perform at clubs, I ensure that I'm able to do my Afrobeat when I do that, because that's in the end, that's what I'm trying to. That's who I am. Yeah, and living in Dubai for as long as I've lived in Dubai, I've been able to create a fan base for myself that is just not predominantly Africans. Majority of my fans are all over. You know, so I've been quite, I wouldn't say quite lucky, but I've really worked hard to get to where I am. And that's why I'm frequently coming to Nigeria now, because I don't want to just have to be known as a Dubai-based artist anymore. So you can't, if you come to Dubai and talk about, you know, Nigerian artists doing well in Dubai or African artists doing well in Dubai, I have to, you know.
Let's talk about your music, because I think you've done a few tracks now, videos and songs.
Like 25, isn't it? 27 videos.
27 songs and 5 videos.
I want to talk about Still Into You. So, because I've listened to a few of them. Why are you saying okay?
Okay, go on.
Because I listened to a few and I really liked it. And, you know, you featuring Absolute on that, I thought that was absolutely, you know, wonderful.
Yeah.
So take us through that, working with her, and, you know, how the collaboration was.
Well, Absolute she's a phenomenal artist. It was more about, that's actually my genre when you talk about singing ballad and R&B. But, you know, when I came down to Nigeria to promote Still Into You, it was a difficult one for me. But I'm glad you saw that. That's probably one of my best work.
And I'm glad
smiling. I was like, what is it?
And I'm glad you say that, you know, your genre is ballads and singing and showing that there's a challenge with that here, because a lot of the songs here, I mean, the kind of music here is always based on trends. I mean, at the moment, it's the like shaku shaku sound that everyone loves. And before it was, you know, the kind of mo hits kind of sound. Now it's obviously that's trending. Iyanya actually also once said that, you know, he's a ballad, you know, he sings ballads and stuff like that. And he had to sing what sells. Do you find that you're always in between, like, you know, singing what people want to hear and staying true to your craft? Do you feel?
I think my next question would actually answer this, man, because honestly, when I did my research and you had discovered you're a gangster and a gentleman. So don't be fooled, ladies. You can be gangster. Should I give you an example?
Go for it.
I done did. I done clef. You're double. One. Then it comes back with, come on, come be my lover. Come on. And then, how do you manage to deceive people? Because I'm not deceived.
Well, thank goodness you're not. But I'm a songwriter, and that's how I'm able to tell my story as an artist, and I'm a singer as well. So if I can do both, why not? Right? When I did Still Into You, and everyone was like, yo, that's an amazing song. I had people in Nigeria losing it, like, you've got to come back home and promote this track and everything, which I did, and it didn't fly. So it's a big challenge, but if you are good at what you do, you need to find a way to balance between giving your audience what they want and staying true to your identity as an artist. So when you listen to Come On, Come Be My Lover, it has that R&B vibe, and there is a Caribbean.
Again, because I was going to get you to sing a little bit before we wrap up.
And then you hear something like, we'll get there. and then I double. On the other hand, I worked with D-Tunes, you know, and we were in the studio, and he said to me, yo, MKO, you're good. Let's try Afrobeat.
All right.
Yeah.
We haven't got long.
Really?
Yes. So that's why I'm like trying to like, sorry, we're just going to push for time.
Sure.
So can I get you to do, you know, just sing us out of the show very quickly?
And I'm gonna sing a song, but it wouldn't be mine. Do you know why? Because Iyanya, I Feel You. And one of his favorite songs, one of his new single is one of my favorite songs. Hold on, when he enters.
Oh yeah, that is a good song.
You go feel, I'll make you know. That for me is a brilliant song, well written, well composed. Brilliant work.
Sorry, I have one question for you before we sign off. Now, in terms of finances...
Sorry, are we out? Sorry, we're out of time.
I wish you could have done... I wish you could... I've had so much fun.
Yeah, all right.
On that note, thanks for having me on the studio.
All right, then. That's where we're going to have to draw the curtains on this afternoon's episode of Tea Time. Join us tomorrow for another engaging episode of Tea Time. Until then, a big thank you to my co-anchors, the production team, our stylist courtesy of Kudi Empire, and last but not least, our studio guest, Dubai-based artist MKO. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks.
I'm Tokunbo Taiwo saying thanks for watching and have yourself a lovely evening.